So thank you. It's our first UNA, so as a civil society organization, we're very pleased to be here. We are working with a particular segment of both government and society, which is the legislatures in Asia, using the same model that was developed in the United States when the Clean Air Act came into force, and then the EPA was set up with strict regulations. Essentially, that was a very successful model. It took 30 years to go from New York City, which the buildings were covered with smog, to what it is today, where the air quality on a daily basis is generally good. And so we are applying the same model, looking at the SDGs, which are the targets 3.9, 11.6, and 12.4, and working with members of parliament in Asian countries who are on their energy, environment, health, and finance committees, along with the World Bank and UNEP. And the biggest challenge really is that taking the decisions has an economic cost to them, has a kind of retrofitting, transitioning from dirtier sources of energy. So one of the things that has been a successful breakthrough is the World Bank beginning to do studies on the economic cost of pollution, and also providing annual figures for that, so that when decision makers are seeing that, it is then moving them in the direction of we've got to tighten enforcement.
You talk about the World Bank as being a critical factor there,
yes.
and that was game-changing for you. I'm interested, what in your own behavior or your own observations and decision-making did you find was game-changing for you?
I think, well, on a personal level, what was game-changing for me is I'm a mother of a severe asthmatic. So for me, this is not just a theoretical issue. But seeing that, I worked with Mexico quite a lot during the early years when they were struggling with this, and seeing the effect that it had, the fact that my own daughter could go and visit there on a singing tour and not end up, having to take very strong medication, showed me that it was possible to make that change. And there it was both the government, the legislature, and civil society. So the fact that leadership in this context means bringing together all these elements, the intergovernmental system, the governments, civil society, and the legislature, which is the one that has to both make the laws, give the budgets, and then implement them. And I have seen responses from members of parliament of all parties when you lay out the economic costs to them, when you lay out the impact it's having on agriculture. But these are choices that are painful economically.
And critically, I'd add to that the private sector, obviously.
Absolutely. They're the ones who have to deliver the renewable energy solutions.
Exactly, and are critical in the fight against air pollution.